Pierre Poilievre skyrockets in new poll, surpasses 40% as momentum builds. Pierre Poilievre's political momentum is turning into a national phenomenon. A new wave of polling shows the Conservative Party leader has climbed to over 40% support, a milestone that positions him not just as a viable contender, but as the potential next Prime Minister of Canada. As Canadians look ahead to the 2025 federal election, one thing is clear. Pierre Poilievre is no longer in the shadow of the governing Liberals. He is front and center, with the public's eyes fixed firmly on what he'll do next. This dramatic rise is not the result of a one-off bump or political fluke. It is the result of months, if not years, of calculated strategy, relentless messaging, and tapping into the deep-rooted frustrations many Canadians feel about the direction of their country. From small towns to major cities, from Gen Z voters to middle-class homeowners, Poilievre is striking a nerve that few politicians have managed to reach in recent memory. Canadians are watching a political realignment unfold in real time. Across social media, town halls, and national debates, Poilievre's name is rising steadily in conversations about leadership, economic stability, and political courage. His polling numbers, now confidently over the 40% threshold, are not just numbers. They are a reflection of changing public will. The electorate is shifting, and Poilievre is riding the wave like a seasoned surfer who's waited years for the perfect swell. The polls reveal not just growing support, but a surge in enthusiasm among those who feel left behind or unheard. These are Canadians disillusioned by the high cost of living, housing shortages, rising taxes, and a sense that Ottawa no longer works for them. In Poilievre, they see a figure willing to break with political tradition and say the quiet parts out loud. He doesn't speak like a polished bureaucrat. He speaks like someone who's angry on behalf of regular people. That connection is proving powerful. What's perhaps most fascinating about this political moment is how rapidly the ground beneath the Liberal Party appears to be shifting. With Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stepping down from leadership, the Liberals have entered a period of transition. Their new leader, Mark Carney, is a former central banker with no elected political experience. He brings with him international credibility, but not yet the personal connection or trust Poilievre has built with a wide range of Canadians. That gap in emotional resonance may prove to be the Liberals' Achilles heel. For many months, the Canadian public has grown increasingly vocal about their discontent. Inflation, affordability crises, and healthcare strain have left people wondering whether their government is still capable of meeting their needs. The Liberals, once seen as the party of progressive innovation, are now being accused of complacency. It's in this environment that Poilievre's straight-talking, hard-hitting persona feels refreshing to some and revolutionary to others. The growth in his popularity is also striking in its geographic diversity. While the Conservative Party has long enjoyed dominance in the prairies and parts of Western Canada, Poilievre is now making inroads in the suburbs of Ontario, the Maritimes, and even parts of Quebec. He's been tailoring his message to resonate with the challenges unique to each province, without compromising the overarching theme of systemic change. Whether talking to farmers in Saskatchewan, young renters in Toronto, or small business owners in Nova Scotia, Poilievre repeats the same refrain: government is broken, and it's time to fix it. In ridings where the Liberals once held comfortable leads, the margin is narrowing. The momentum is palpable. Rally crowds are swelling. Fundraising is breaking records. And online, his campaign videos rack up millions of views, with supporters sharing his clips as rallying cries for political transformation. The combination of digital dominance and traditional ground game is setting the tone for a modern, data-driven campaign. It's not just his fans who are taking notice. Opponents from across the spectrum are beginning to shift their attacks, aiming to slow his surge before it becomes unstoppable. But this only seems to fuel his supporters' belief that the establishment feels threatened. That narrative, that Poilievre is the outsider the insiders fear, has become a crucial part of his brand. Critics often accuse him of being too combative, too critical, or lacking in concrete solutions. But his growing poll numbers suggest that many Canadians are more concerned about intent than presentation. They're looking for a fighter, someone who they believe will prioritize them over political correctness or elite approval. Poilievre's willingness to challenge media narratives, bureaucratic inertia, and long-standing political conventions has made him a symbol of rebellion against the status quo. What makes this moment all the more dramatic is the ticking clock toward the next federal election. With the snap election date now confirmed, the pressure is on all parties to solidify their platforms, energize their bases, and convince the undecided middle. But it's the Conservatives, led by a now-surging Poilievre, who seem to be setting the agenda. While other leaders are still defining their messages, Poilievre has already carved out a clear, resonant narrative, and it's catching on. Support over 40% is not just symbolic. It represents the crossing of a psychological threshold. It suggests that Canadians no longer see him as just a strong opposition voice, but as someone capable of governing. It opens the door to a potential majority, especially if current trends continue into key swing ridings. If the momentum sustains, this election may become a referendum not just on the ruling party, but on the political establishment itself. The idea of a Conservative comeback led by a populist firebrand once seemed unlikely. Now, it seems increasingly inevitable. The electorate appears energized, the playing field is being redrawn, and the traditional rulebook may no longer apply. What happens next is uncertain. The political landscape in Canada is volatile and can shift quickly, especially in the final weeks of a campaign. But one thing is clear. Pierre Poilievre's rise above 40% is more than just a polling milestone. It is a statement, a signal, a warning shot to those in power. Canadians are hungry for change, and they believe he might be the one to deliver it. In this moment, as campaign trails heat up and debates loom on the horizon, the energy surrounding Poilievre is unmistakable. Whether he can convert that energy into electoral victory remains to be seen, but for now, he's leading the charge, with wind at his back and a movement that shows no signs of slowing down.